as a successful business. So I'm looking for a successful businessman to fight for me, and he's been extremely successful. I realize there's a whole lot of controversy with this man.
Danny Koker became a household name through the hit show Counting Cars. Each episode showcased his passion for custom builds and the crew at Counts Customs who brought old vehicles back to life. Fans loved his rock and roll style, his energy, and the way he hunted down rare finds across Las Vegas. But in recent years, many have wondered what happened to the man who once ruled custom car television. From making changes in his business and facing personal challenges to the rumors that spread after the show ended, Danny's journey took turns few expected. Join us as we explore what happened to Danny Koker. I collect cars and my father and we collect together for years. Dad's in heaven. He went the Lord called him home in 08 and I still can't cope with it. The most important person in my world, for almost a decade, Counting Cars dominated TV, releasing 196 episodes featuring rebuilds, road trips, and all the wild, high-powered energy you'd expect from a Vegas shop. When it first aired back in 2012, nobody really knew what to expect. But the show quickly became a hit. Before long, Danny Koker and his shop turned into a bit of a tourist stop. People would show up hoping to walk around, see the crew working, maybe even spot a car they recognized from an episode. For a while, business and TV success moved in perfect sync. Then, in December 2021, the show simply went off the air. No announcement, no farewell, nothing from the History Channel. Episodes just stopped and viewers were left guessing. With no official cancellation announcement, it gave room for a lot of speculation. Some fans blamed rising production costs. Others assumed the format had run its course. A few even floated rumors of tension between the network and the crew. The truth was far simpler. The History Channel quietly chose not to renew the series and ended things without explanation. Surprisingly, Danny didn't fight the decision. Filming the show had basically turned into another full-time job for him. There were long shooting days, scenes they had to redo, and a production schedule that kept affecting the real work happening in the shop. After years of having cameras in his face while he tried to build cars, the cancellation almost felt like a breather rather than bad news. However, without weekly episodes, the public lost track of Danny, and that gave room for even more speculations. Once Counting Cars was off the air, the silence around Danny didn't go unnoticed. Multiple posts across social media began to twist that absence into something much more concerning. Before long, the biggest rumor circulating claimed Danny Koker had actually died. It started gradually. A comment here, a vague post there, but it didn't take long for it to increase. Like most viral misinformation, the damage came from how fast it moved, not from how accurate it was. Some people said he'd been dealing with health issues after seeing pictures of him looking like he'd lost a dangerous amount of weight. The lack of official updates only made the confusion grow, and within months, the false story had spread far beyond the usual fan circles. The rumor about his wife, Corey, didn't help either. In 2022, a misleading report claimed she died in a car accident. That post went viral before anyone could correct it. None of it was true. Danny is alive and so is his wife, Corey. Still, more old stories resurfaced as well. A handful of accounts began bringing up a lawsuit story implying Danny had lost everything or disappeared because of it. But while the rumors about his death were completely false, the old lawsuit people kept mentioning was real and it was about to become part of the story again. Long before the rumors started flying online, Danny had already dealt with the real problem inside his own shop. Back in 2016, while Counting Cars was still in its prime, the business discovered something much more serious than any social media story. An employee, Joseph Frontier, the man responsible for handling their finances, was accused of taking money from the company. According to the paperwork the shop filed, more than $75,000 had gone missing, spent on personal expenses that had nothing to do with the business. Airline tickets, luxury purchases, and other charges started showing up in places they shouldn't have. For a custom shop that worked long hours to stay profitable, losing that kind of money to someone they trusted was a heavy blow. Danny and the team had relied on Frontier for payroll, vendor payments, and day-to-day financial oversight. Instead, they said they discovered months' worth of transactions that didn't add up. Eventually, the case was heard in court. Frontier denied the accusations, but the documentation told a different story. The case ended with a public consent judgment ordering him to pay $41,257 in restitution, only part of what Counts Customs claimed was missing. Still, that incident left a mark on the shop. They tightened their procedures, adjusted how their finances were managed, and continued to make builds. The embezzlement didn't shut them down or derail the work. They recovered and moved forward. And while the case had been resolved long before Counting Cars ended, Danny was about to face new questions about one of his business outfits. Vamped wasn't just a bar. It was home to Danny for more than a decade. The venue, which he co-owned with his wife Corey, became a core of the Las Vegas rock scene. Night after night, the stage hosted performances of big-name touring acts, upcoming bands, and even Danny himself with the rock group Count 7. What most people don't know about Danny was on TV. He was the car guy. But Danny's first passion was music. Before becoming famous for his car builds, he was already performing in smoky bars, church choirs, and small clubs. Still, Vamp was the one place where both sides of his world, cars, and rock and roll lived under the same roof. Fans who come to Las Vegas for Counting Cars often made it a point not just to see the garage, but to stop at Vamp for a show, a drink, and a chance to watch Danny's performances. The venue did well for many years. However, in May 2025, Danny decided to put Vamped up for sale. The initial asking price was $4.3 million, but was later reduced to $3.75 million. He explained in interviews that the and Corey were ready for a new chapter after years of running the bar and hosting events and performances. Danny also hoped the next owner would maintain what made Vamp special and keep the music going. Letting Vamp go wasn't easy. It was where Danny connected face-to-face with fans who knew him beyond TV. Closing it felt like giving up a part of himself. Still, rumors spread, financial trouble, stepping away from public life, but none of them were true. But as Danny stepped away from Vamp, a new wave of far more personal challenges began. The year 2025 tested Danny in ways no business decision ever could. On March 4, the automotive world lost agent in Gene Winfield, the 97-year-old master builder who shaped the look and soul of custom cars for generations, passed away. Gone wasn't just respected, he was admired. His innovations influenced the style of countless builders, and Danny was one of the many who felt that impact deeply. Danny shared the news with fans online, writing that the car community had suffered a great loss today. He called Winfield a legend in the custom car world, a sentiment echoed throughout the industry. At shows like the Syracuse Nationals, Winfield was honored with awards and displays that celebrated the scale of his contributions. For Danny, losing Winfield meant losing not just a friend, but a mentor, someone whose creativity encouraged him to push every build a little further. But heartbreak wasn't finished. On November 17, tragedy struck again. Pete Townies, president of Championship Auto Shows Incorporated, died unexpectedly. Townies was one of the auto industry's great connectors. His events, including Auto-AMA, Cavalcade of Cars, and World of Wheels, gave builders astage. Danny's team, like so many others, benefited from Pete's vision. Danny expressed the loss in an emotional post on X, writing that there aren't enough words to describe this wonderful man. Danny described Pete as someone who treated everyone politely, regardless of experience level. He saw Pete as a professional partner who contributed to the work and the community around it. Danny continues to honor both Winfield and Townies through his work, carrying forward the lessons they taught and the standards they set. Through the grief, though, one thing remained constant. The music never stopped. Even after Vamp was sold and his television appearance stopped, one thing in Danny's life never slowed down. Music. Danny might have left reality TV, but those who kept following his journey saw that he wasn't stepping away from performing. If anything, his passion only got stronger. Count 77 continued performing even after Vamp was put up for sale. The band started playing at the Copa inside the Bootlegger Bistro, a smaller venue where fans could see Danny perform up close while he focused on the music. On stage, Danny performs as the lead singer of the hard rock band, playing the songs and interacting with the audience. Count 77 set lists stick to the band's usual style, focusing on guitar-driven rock with a Vegas influence. Visitors are often surprised by the level of planning and organization behind the performances. They record albums, play shows regularly, and treat music with the same craftsmanship Danny applies to custom cars. Each performance is delivered with professional force. For Danny, music isn't just a hobby. It's work, just a different kind of work. The same precision that goes into a flawless paint job or a perfectly tuned build shows up in every riff, every arrangement, every live show. And unlike the garage, where a project takes weeks or months before anyone sees the result, music gives him something immediate, our action, a roar. Audiences attend the shows in person, and Danny continues performing regularly in Las Vegas. But while the music thrived, his custom shop remained the foundation of everything he built. Even after Counting Cars went off the air and rumors started spreading online, Count's Customs kept doing what it always had, building world-class machines. The shop in Las Vegas is still very much alive and busy with the crew taking on all kinds of custom work for both cars and motorcycles. Some days they might be laying down fresh paint, the next they're bending metal, rebuilding an engine, or bringing an old classic back to life. Most of what rolls through their doors are muscle cars, hot rods, and choppers. The same style of machines that helped build the Count's Customs reputation in the first place, the look and attitude that made fans fall in love with the shop haven't changed. One of the biggest attractions at the shop today is the free museum. Tourists and gearheads from around the world walk through its doors daily to see over 50 pieces from Danny's personal collection. Inside are rare classics like a 1962 Cadillac, motorcycles that look straight out of the early biker era, and a 1978 Lincoln Continental. Just a few of the machines that show the range of Danny's taste. For many visitors, the museum closely resembles what they remember from the show. With completed projects on display and additional work taking place in nearby areas, with filming no longer part of the daily routine, the crew has been able to focus more on the technical side of their projects. Recent posts on the shop's social media pages have shown several notable builds, including an SUV presented at SEMA 2025 that received positive attention at the event. The continued interest indicates that the shop's work remains well regarded in the industry and that activity at the shop is constant and increasing. The business has also adapted to the digital era. Danny's official social media accounts regularly upload behind-the-scenes clips, progress shots, and early teases of new projects. Fans respond eagerly, commenting, sharing, and keeping the community active. Count's Customs may not be on the History Channel every Tuesday night anymore, but online the audience is still watching. Visitors to the shop today can take more than just a walk through the museum. VI tours offer increased experiences, including local landmark stops and special appearances from Danny during select events. For Danny, Count's Customs has always been the foundation. This is the place where his work began and where he continues to spend most of his time. He handles the equipment, listens to music while he works, and collaborates with a team that understands his approach. But the question everyone keeps asking is, will he ever return to television? With the shop running strong and the band performing regularly, Danny has also been looking toward another possibility, stepping back onto television. In October 2025, he revealed something that immediately sparked excitement among longtime fans. He shared that he was in talks with 2 different networks about 3 potential series ideas, and he sounded confident that something would move forward soon. Selling Vamped after 16 years suddenly made more sense in that context. With the bar no longer demanding his time, Danny and Corey could redirect their energy toward new projects, including whatever shape these TV concepts eventually take. While full details are still unrevealed, it's not hard to guess the direction. If Danny returns to television, it will almost certainly revolve around the world he knows best: cars, music, Vegas, or a combination of the 3. Whatever the final format becomes, television today offers something Danny didn't have during the original run of Counting Cars. Control, with how TV is now,